Hello, this video is going to show you how to find great tasks and assignments and maybe some instruction on a website called Literacy Design Collaborative CoreTools. The website is coretools.ldc.org, and you will create a login for free, and it will take you to this page. And where we're going to want to hang out is in LDC Library. LDC stands for Literacy Design Collaborative. In the library are thousands of tasks and instructional, we call them instructional ladders or instructional processes for those tasks. The problem is anybody can make them. So what we want to do is filter down by taking out unrated. Now we're only looking at instruction and assignments that have been rated by professionals using criteria. Now, next month we're going to look at mini tasks, but right now we're just looking at what's called a module, or a module is like a unit, but it's a unit around very specific texts. So I want to find a great assignment, and let's say I'm an English teacher, and I want to find a great poetry assignment, and I'm a middle school English teacher. So I'm going to change my grade level to middle school, and I'm going to change my discipline to ELA. And now I'm going to type in poetry. And what we have here are 12 tasks that all talk about poetry. Okay? Now you see some are yellow and some are blue. Blue means that it was good to go, and yellow means it's exemplary. And often the difference between that is not something that needs to be worried about. They're going to be very strong. So if it's just, you'll see some of these have one blue, and some of them have, or one star, and some of them have 2 stars. Well, what's that mean? 1 star means the only thing that's been reviewed is the task. And you see here is the task. Here is the task right here. Here's the task. So these are all the tasks. So if we look here, it says, after reading The Road Not Taken, write an essay in which you analyze how Frost uses nuance in word meaning to develop the meaning of the poem. Support your discussion with evidence from the text. So that is what's been reviewed and what is considered to be a quality task because it has the blue star. If I scroll down, though, and I look at this one down here, it says task and ladder. Now, this one doesn't seem to be about poetry, so that's not going to be very helpful. But what it tells us is that it has a strong instructional plan. So let's say I'm looking for something on Edgar Allan Poe, and I do teach short stories. This has a task and a ladder. So if I click on it, it's going to open up a full module. And the module is going to have some opening sort of introduction for the teachers and for the students. It'll have some standards. Now, these standards may not be your state standards, but you can change them. And here's the task that has been rated as good to go. After reading your selected Edgar Allan Poe short story, write an essay in which you analyze Poe's use of literary devices and how they impact meaning and tone. Support your discussion with evidence from the text. Now, I've said before that a ladder is the instruction. So here's some of the resources. And down here is the instructional ladder. So these are all the things that the teacher is going to do to prepare the students and to walk the students through completing the assignment. And they're called mini tasks. And if I click on them, I can see a scoring guide, instructional strategy, standards, and I can go to the mini task. And then it tells me exactly what is going to happen and what the lesson is. A mini task is like a lesson. It's the lesson. These lessons, each of these lessons are taught in order to walk students through the process of completing that task that we saw at the beginning. So they all start with a preparing for the task lessons. Then they go to reading process lessons. Then they go to transition to writing lessons and writing process lessons. So because this has 2 stars, it has 1 star for the task and 1 star that says that they've reviewed this instructional process and it meets the criteria. So there might be tasks out there that don't have reviewed instruction. So let's go back and look at another one. So let's say I'm a social studies teacher. I'm going to only want to see exemplary good to go, and I only want to see module, and even we can get rid of collections too. We just want to see module. Module means I'm looking at the whole thing, not just for lessons. And I'm going to teach the Declaration of Independence. And I'm teaching it in social studies. Okay? So here's one for evaluating the structure of the Declaration of Independence. And after reading the Declaration of Independence, write an essay in which you discuss the structure and evaluate the role and effectiveness of each major section. Now notice though, when I click on it, I'll have the standards and the task, and as I get down here, it has a ladder, but it's not complete. You see, it has some strategies, but not that many. But it does have student samples of student work. But there's also going to be some, if I'm really looking, I can find one that has both a task and a ladder. So this one is going to be a task that says what grievances led the Continental Congress to conclude that the North American colonies needed to throw British rule and create their own government. After reading the Declaration of Independence and historical background materials, write an article in which you analyze how they show a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object that evinces yada yada yada. Okay, that's a quote. And then, so they said that's good to go. And then they reviewed this ladder of instruction and said if you follow these instructions, the students will complete this assignment successfully. There's a high level of likelihood that they will complete it successfully. So our next session in December, now it's November, but in December we're going to talk about what makes a great instructional ladder. You can also see here a variety of tasks depending on what you're teaching. So what you want to do is play around with your discipline, your grade level, and search for the topics you want to teach and see if you can find some tasks that you like and see if they have that 2nd star, which means it has an instructional ladder that's worth teaching and has been reviewed and decided that it meets the criteria. We will be going deeper into instructional ladders in the future. I hope that this has been helpful.